Well, I was making some progress, but now I gotta go 2 steps backwards. Got it up and running, playing with the cooling system, trying to get it bled, and noticed an oil leak on the right side of the bike coming up from the front. And upon closer inspection, let's see, I don't know if you guys can see it, but right there, come on, that silver spot right there is a crack in the valve cover. So all this has got to come out. I'm going to swap that valve cover. I'm going to look at that one really close to make sure that one's good. That one just goes on here, put it all back together, and keep moving forward. So that's where we're at on this, so might as well go ahead and get busy. So we got throttle bodies out, got everything unhooked, wiring harness hanging down. This is actually not a complicated job. Hard part is you have to go through and disconnect everything, and the wiring harness comes around through here and exits there. You just have to pull all that out, just get out of your way, drop the coolant, as you can see down there, loosen the bottom radiator bolt, and swing it up out of the way, which means you have to take all the hoses off. Swing it out of the way so you have a little bit more room up in here. And it's actually, once you get all the stuff that's right here out of the way, 6 Allen bolts, number 6 Allen bolts, thing comes off. You kind of have to wiggle and contort, but to get it out, it's actually really easy. It didn't take me very much time, probably took me 10 minutes. One thing on these that I really like, so to hold the throttle bodies in, normally you have clamps, or on the older stuff you have a clamp here with a bolt, then a clamp here with a bolt. Here you just got one bolt that clamps these two with these spacers, so once you get it tight, the spacers keep it from over clamping. So you just have to come in here with a small Allen wrench and come in this side with a small Allen wrench. Then these just wiggle and pull up once you have all the wires disconnected. But let's go over here. I got valve cover off of that engine. So after getting it out, if we look at this, from what I could see, I could see about that much of the crack. And there were some jokes going around with the owner. I was like, yeah, I'm just going to JB weld it and call it done. That was a joke, though. Here we can see a huge hole right there. And then if we look at it from the underside, you see that crack goes all the way into this bolt hole. And I know some people out there would try to JB weld this up, and please just don't do that. And I looked and looked and looked. See, we've got a little nick mark there, a little nick mark there, and to me this looks like it was broken from the inside out. So knowing that this engine was in a wrecked bike, there's all kinds of possibilities. I do know that when I pulled the motor, that motor mount bolt was missing, and the threads in there are pretty bad. But I cannot for the life of me figure out how something, and I looked at this close, how something from up in here could have bumped up, because that crack is right here going over to this bolt hole. I'm not seeing any scarring or damage on any of this. So I have absolutely no fathomable idea how anything broke that. Now I'm guessing what could have possibly happened, I know the radiator off the wrecked bike was mangled pretty bad, and I know that this side of the frame was all busted up, so I'm wondering if maybe this came over, pushed everything down, and possibly broke it that way. I don't know. Don't know. All I know is that ain't no fucking good at all. So here's the other valve cover. I've scrutinized it. Gotta clean it up, but it looks like it's gonna solve this one little issue. So I had to do all that. And see, here's some, I don't know what would have caused that. That's ground down. Coarsely ground down, so there's no telling. Don't know, don't care. So I'm gonna get this one in place. I'm gonna move the sensor over, the hoses over, and put it all back together. Alright, so we're getting this thing back together, and I'm sitting here adjusting the throttle cable wiggle. And a friend of mine, Mike, came over. We're gonna work on his bike as well. He showed me a bonehead mistake that I made. See if you can spot the problem. Yeah. That's fucking awesome. So the saga continues. We've got valve cover replaced, everything all put back together. Seems to run good. I still do not have coolant in the system. I still got to fix this mess. But I was sitting here messing with this deal. So this is the instrument cluster that we're going to use. I had pulled this one apart to see if maybe we could get the brains, swap over that onto here. But that's a no-go because it's all soldered on. I don't feel like doing that. So looking at these, this one's all busted up. Had a zip tie holding it down. I thought, let's put this on the back of that so we have a mounting point. Unfortunately, flip this over. We flip this over. There goes my starting fluid. Anybody could see that's not going to go on there because the plug is over here on this one, which is the 2012, and I don't remember the year that this came off of, but we can see that the plugs don't match. And then to make matters even worse, he brought me this fairing stay here. And if we try to put this on here, just to make it, let's go ahead and pull this little bolt out, just to make sure that nothing lines up. So that post is supposed to go inside there and push in. As you can see, it's way too far down. So this is actually supposed to sit way up here like this. So I don't know what year this fairing stay came off of. And then we take the front fairing it doesn't line up. So those two holes are supposed to line up with those three holes. As you can see, we are hitting right. I just tried to point to it while moving the camera. That's an idiot move. We're hitting everything. So this is supposed to go in that hole. That little spud is supposed to go in that grommet. So this fairing stay is not going to work. So Tim, I know you're watching this. I need a fairing stay for 12. On the flip side, oh, I don't even have the gauges plugged in. It runs, no check engine lights, no FI lights. I got the valve cover replaced, so I don't think I have any more oil leaks there. Got this replaced. Got the black rear sets on. I did have to swap out the silver shifter arm because the black one had a nice curve to it. And then if we come over here on this side, the black peg was broken from the wreck, but I got the rear sets on and I've got this here. So this is actually pretty easy to replace if he wants to replace those. I do have to remove the brake switch off of the back of here and put the brake switch that's wired in on there. Not a big deal. Got a radiator cap, which I was missing. Still don't have any coolant in it. So while it still looks the same, a lot has been done today. And I had a friend of mine, Mike, come over and we got his R6 fired up. I had to do some electrical work on it. Like I said, I still have to do this and I have to contend with all of this. So it's coming along. Fires right up. Sounds good. So tomorrow, I think I'm going to tackle a lot of that. The fairing stay is going to be an issue. So Tim, hopefully you can source one. But that is where we're at the end of today. Got the chain adjusted. It's no longer sagging way down. Still got to bleed the brakes. So, and I'm going to just flush the whole system. So that is where we're at on this bad boy. Still got to put that tank on it. I'm just using this one mainly because it has more fuel in it so I can run it. I did replace the black handle with the second one of these. So we've got matching red aftermarket handles on it. Brake and clutch levers. So other than that, like I said, I got the oil leaks. I'm assuming I got all the oil leaks done. And we'll just have to get I have to get it off of the table, off of the bench to be able to bleed it, because you have to rock the bike left, right, and yada, yada, yada. So we'll do the coolant thing last after I get all the wiring harness, and we'll start fitting body panels and do a lot of the funky electrical stuff. But we're getting close.